Vietnamese studio Tropical Space has completed a cube-shaped sculpture workshop for artist Le Duc Ha, which hides an elaborate bamboo shelving grid behind its perforated brick walls. The project is located next to Thu Bon River, Quang Nam Province. This river has a huge interaction to local life. Majority of the residents live depending on agriculture, besides with variety of traditional craft villages such as Terra Cotta, mat, and silk. This terracotta workshop has its life follow the movement of this river. However, its inspiration and design comes from the thermite nest, which has natural air conditioning and temperature balance mechanism. Hence, it offers us feeling the breath of the light and breeze and the change of the colors under sunlight. Thu Bon River's shining highest nest. I am background and founder of BEA Plus, and I am going to talk about my personal thoughts about the termitary house. The exterior layer of the studio is made by clay solid brick, which reminds people about Vietnam traditional furnace. This area was Champa Kingdom capital from the 4th to the 7th century, and the studio has a certain influence of Champa culture spirit. The building gives the artist a dedicated place for creating clay sculptures and pottery, as well as display spaces where he can show off his work. The interior of the studio is the 3 floors wood frame system, creating many space with dimension of 60 centimeters to 60 centimeters, which is function as the shelves to put terracotta works, hallway and stairs. The artist's turntable is located at the center of the ground level, directly beneath a circular opening in the floor and the coolest area of the house, also one of the only non-square elements in the building. Moreover, dragon gates like hole in the middle of the floor also supports design idea of tropical space because it provides feng shui in the building. However, holes known as dragon gates also appear in the middle of Hong Kong's towering skyscrapers, designed according to feng shui to allow the mythical flying beasts to pass every day on the way from their abodes in the mountains to reach the sea. Feng shui can translate as wind and water stems from the ancient art of geomancy or connecting to the energy of the earth. Among other things, feng shui is concerned with the relationship of buildings to the natural environment, including mountains, seas, and skies. As a result, this hole allows a shaft of light to filter down from overhead, and also allows visitors to observe the artist at work from the floors above. Also, the artist and his works can interact with the sunlight from sunrise to twilight. When you are within the property, it just opens up lovely. You actually see all the way through to the backyard, and that's one of the main features, allowing your vision to see the full depth of property both vertically and horizontally. There also are several square apertures that form windows, as well as 2 larger voids that provide entrances. These 2 openings are positioned on opposite sides, allowing views right through. Follow the hallways, people can observe the workshop, riverbanks, and the whole garden through windows. Here, people can find the conversation of the artist and his work, and himself with his shadow in the silence. This layer is not preventing the outside environment from coming into the studio, so the artist can feel the wind, the cool from the river, and the sound of nature in the surrounding area, said the studio. It also creates a certain privacy for the artist. I think the material should not be used for the surface of the building. Materials can show the philosophy of the project, and exactly this project reflects this idea. The clay solid brick that used in the exterior is one of the most traditional building materials in the Vietnam. Also, a brick home offering a warmth, sophisticated elegance, and versatility that has stood the test of time. A symbol of protection and stability, the proverbial house in here. This project incorporates brick because it is traditional, enabling architects to create experimental buildings that still blend in with vernacular architecture or to reference traditional domestic spaces within contemporary forms. Although brick is utilitarian, it is bound up in histories and cultures in here, and that prevents it from becoming ordinary. Also, it is interesting to note that the rhythm used here on the facade, which some may see as 1-2-1-2, has been used with great success even in the rock tombs of Egypt and in Eero Saarinen's buildings for General Motors in Detroit. In these locations, the eye is drawn to the 1-2-1 rhythm on the facade in different patterns, and the feeling of heaviness from the bricks is replaced by a feeling of lightness. Moreover, facades featuring perforated brickwork provide an excellent solution for regulate the incoming light, obscure the interior from view and off while allowing for the free flow of air. The degree of transparency varies based on the size of the opening, impacting the view both from the inside and outside. One of the most remarkable effects is the captivating visual texture produced by the interplay between solid and void elements. There is also timbers to introduce warmth and to soften spaces that were selected at the frame system. Wooden structure opens up space with display areas and apertures to its surrounding. This creates a friendly and playful atmosphere while retaining a sense of aspiration as its elements project towards the central skylight. The frames presenting the user with an intimate relationship with architecture and curating the perfect setting for a sharing space. Exposed concrete floors are creating contrast between facades, and floors creates a balanced atmosphere between warm and cold, especially in the entrance floor. Also, when you enter the building, you can easily sense there is a certain proportion between wooden frames and hole in the middle. Light comes from the facade and frames penetrates through the opening in the center. Considering all its features, the biggest feature that attracted me to this project was the success behind the design in every aspect. Because when the architect has achieved his goal, he is like a host who has provided every comfort for his guest. Being his guest is a really enjoyable experience, but his work as a producer is difficult for several reasons. First of all, his actors are ordinary people. The architect has to understand how they naturally behave, otherwise the whole project might not work out. In this project, Tropical Space has got the audience just right and used their own classical designs which fit in well with the history of the area. They've turned this building into a place where people who love Terra Cotta can meet and share experiences with clay. Also, the building's simple design makes it easy for everyone to understand.